Hey everybody, it's Jenny Brandon, and welcome to another episode of my work in progress vlog, and where I get to talk about being creative, about collaboration, and working on new projects. And today I'm really excited to be joined by Jeremy Reynolds, who is the clarinet professor at the University of Denver Lamont School of Music, and he's also the chair of the woodwind department. And he's got a really busy schedule also as assistant principal clarinet with the Colorado Springs Philharmonic, as well as performing internationally. He's a buffet crampon performing artist, and he's a big supporter of new music and composers. And that's why we're here today. So welcome, Jeremy. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah. So I wanted to chat about our new project that we're working on, the Clarinet Concerto with chamber orchestra that we're going to be premiering during the 2023 International Clarinet Association's Clarinet Fest in Denver, out in your neck of the woods.
Great.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about this opportunity that you have to perform an evening concert at Clarinet Fest. And what does that all mean, especially for folks maybe who aren't in the clarinet world or haven't gone to Clarinet Fest before?
Sure. Well, the ICA was actually started on my campus,
Mm.
so that's part of the reason why it's coming back to Colorado for the 50th anniversary. And it's too big that we just couldn't have it on my campus, so it'll be in one of the suburbs. So
Ah,
so yeah, so the board of the ICA asked me to do an evening concert, be one of the headline artists, and because I have really spent a good chunk of the last decade commissioning and recording and working with living composers and promoting music, I thought, well, okay, this is another opportunity to get another new work out there for all of us to enjoy, and hopefully it becomes part of the standard rep, and it will, it's sort of my, like just a mark that I can sort of add to the history that the University of Denver has had on the ICA. And so this is sort of like my little way that I can contribute to that history. So,
oh,
so I mean, if I don't know if you remember this, but you and I sort of knew each other sort of through a mutual friend and
mhm.
electronically, and Linda Beth Binkley out in Central Michigan University, and I actually was the assistant producer of her CD of all of your music.
Yeah.
So that's how I first came into contact with you, and
Mm.
then we met at ICA, and then I was actually on my couch when you were here for the IDRS up in Boulder, and we were chatting about trying to get coffee, and I said, do you happen to have a concerto in your back pocket? And I told you all the details, and the rest is sort of history.
It
So
is. And I
uh,
think it's funny that we met for the first time at the International Double Reed Society conference about a clarinet fest piece.
yeah, exactly, exactly, yeah.
That's how this world works, right? It's all
Yeah.
intertwined.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, so obviously I was given very specific guidelines of what we had to adhere to, by the board of the ICA. So, that's where all this sort of transpired. So I'm really, really excited. I mean, yeah, like I said, I think working with you, I think this is my 15th commission, maybe. So,
wow.
yeah, so it's really something that I enjoy. It's a way to get really cool music out there. So, yeah.
That's great. And what
Yeah.
a joy that you've commissioned and collaborated with so many people over the years and really contributed to the repertoire for the clarinet world. So thank you
Yeah.
for being such a big supporter and just being excited about new music and collaboration,
Yeah.
which is is really, I mean, just the heart, right, of working together is to work with the performer and work with composers, this collaborative process, which is why, over the next couple months, we'll do a bunch of these little chats because I
Yep.
think it's interesting for people to see this like firsthand.
Yep.
So let's talk about the theme of
Okay.
our piece. And I know, you and I had gone back and forth a lot. You were traveling internationally when we were talking about some ideas, and you were sending me some pictures. And I thought I was trying to like think, okay, well, what is Jeremy excited about, or what can we tell a story about? And so I had also at the time you were traveling, I was traveling, had ended up in Mexico. I was in Cabo San Lucas down in Baja California Sur area, and was like, oh, this is a beautiful place. I think we could tell a story about this. So I came to you with the idea of a piece about where this area down there is where the Pacific Ocean meets the Sea of Cortez. And it is just teeming with life and beauty and all of this wonderful nature and, the creatures that live there and just the rock formations. And there's a coral reef that's there as well. So I think you were pretty excited about it as much as I was
I was
too.
pretty jazzed. Yeah, yeah. As I've only been snorkeling once. I was down at a clarinet festival in Australia, and
Ah,
so obviously going all that way, I had to go to the Great Barrier Reef, and
yeah.
I went to one of the inner reefs. I mean, I still got the full effect just because I didn't want to be the story of, the foreigner that they left, out there.
Right.
Turns out the
Exactly.
day before I snorkeled, they actually did leave an American guy out on that one of the outer reefs. So I
Whoops.
saw it on television. So I kind of made for me, the right decision. So took a
Right.
catamaran out into one of the reefs, and I was snorkeling and stuff. And my experience was that they sort of blew the horn for us to go back to the boat. We were
Oh,
there all afternoon, and it was a catamaran, so it was only like 10 of us. It was really quite intimate, which is nice. And so,
oh,
but we were supposed to be in a reef area where there was a lot of sea turtles, and I mean, of course, I saw some coral, and all the fish, and it was just really spectacular. And so,
sure.
when I was snorkeling back, all of a sudden on the right hand side, this image comes next to me, and I thought, oh God, it's Jaws. I'm done for. I mean, this is done. This is it.
I know.
I mean, hope I have a will. Hope I hope everything's all taken care of.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I turn over, and it was a sea turtle.
Oh, what a
And
lucky
so it
spotting.
was it was
Wow.
like right I was walking past, and I swear it was as if I was swimming next to the turtle from Finding Nemo, and because he just sort of looked over at me, and he looked back, and then we just sort of swam together. It was spectacular. So when you
Magical.
told me this idea, that was like one of the first things. I don't think I told you this, but that was one of the first things that sort of popped into my mind
Ah.
about your diving experience and your
Mm.
training and such. And then last week, as we were talking, catching up and stuff, I had told you that I was watching the Netflix special with Zac Efron.
Ah,
With it's season two, and it's all Australia. He's done in Australia the whole season, and so he was doing talking about like all the regenerative work they're doing with the reef because
oh, sure.
because of the bleaching that's occurring and stuff. And so I was
Mm.
telling you about this, and we were talking about like, oh my, like what, how can we incorporate this? So yeah, so that's I was really excited when you told me about this topic, and also that it's a UNESCO protected site. So it's not only just about the
Yes.
music and collaboration and music, but it also can promote also current events of global warming and the need to protect our wildlife and our natural
Absolutely.
resources. So yeah,
Yeah, and that was really when I was doing the research, as I started thinking, like really digging into thinking about writing this piece about this topic, the UNESCO World Heritage Site part was really exciting. And the fact that there is a reef in the Cabo Pulmo area, which is on the eastern side of Baja. And, we'll work our way there during the piece
yeah,
because, we kind of are going to start in the main area where the arch is. If anybody knows Cabo San Lucas, there's the famous arch that's at the area is called Land's End, and right now the working title for the piece is Fin de la Tierra, which is end of the earth, which is what that area is called at the end with the arch. But as we kind of come up and around, we come into the Cabo Pomo. I think it's a national park that's there with coral reef, and so much importance has been brought to that area and conservation. So we'll explore that in our piece as well. I wanted to talk a little bit too about the orchestration that we're going to be using for this. So you and I had talked a lot about this idea of orchestration, and yes, it's going to be performed at ClarinetFest, but there are many opportunities beyond that, and we want to make sure that we can get it programmed as much as possible.
right.
And so we talked about a good chamber orchestra, like solid, some brass. I'm excited about the harp. I've been writing these last couple of weeks. The harp is playing a really important role in this. Some
Cool.
wonderful percussion. So really using the colors of the chamber orchestra to support you as the soloist, but then also to create this world that we're going into. And in particular, I want the clarinet, and I feel like maybe we've talked about this a bit, but I want the clarinet to almost be like it starts off kind of as a bird's eye view of everything that goes on in the area. And we sort of get a view from the clarinet's perspective of above the water, below the water, everything around it. So you're going to be flying and swimming
Great.
throughout this piece.
Excellent.
Much movement everywhere. But one of the things that you and I talked about too was because, we've got this, we're looking at like a 15-minute, limit on the length of the piece for ClarinetFest, which is fine. But we wanted to kind of have the opportunity to expand beyond that. And so we had talked about the idea of having a solo piece that stood outside of this work.
Hmm.
So in particular, I told you about the monk's devil rays there. That's what they're
Yeah.
called.
Yeah.
And they show up in the tens of thousands in Cabo area. It's very unique to this part of the world in through April through June. And they're amazing. And they jump and leap out of the water. And there's just thousands and thousands of them.
Yeah.
I thought, what if we told their story and expanded that outside of the piece? And I think you really
Yeah.
like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So having this separate solo piece that goes beyond the concerto, which I think is exciting and unique.
Right.
And there will also be a couple other fish that will expand their stories
Yeah.
because
Sure.
I only have 15 minutes.
Yeah, and that's why I think it was such a great idea because because we have the guidelines set before us that and you because you kept on through our initial talk so many ideas that I just think it's a great idea to have even more to have like another piece that comes out of it.
Hmm.
Uh, I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
it's fantastic. Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do is to explore the instrument as the soloist. And so I get to do that in a concerto, but I also have all those other instruments I have to deal with too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this way we have a nice separate thing that can stand
Sure.
on its own. So
Yep.
yeah, so we'll tell the story of the monk's devil ray, some other fish. I'm kind of obsessed with the puffer fish.
Okay.
When I was diving this summer, when I went scuba diving in Cabo, and oh, and I forgot to mention too, this area once at one point, Jacques Cousteau called it the world's aquarium,
Oh,
which is perfect because it is literally like you are swimming inside of an aquarium. It's clear,
nice.
it's beautiful. And these little puffer fish come and they're super curious. And they've got these giant eyes and they'll just be like bunches of them like hanging out. So they'll
Okay.
probably make
Nice.
a make a an
Make an
appearance maybe
appearance. Yeah.
as a reed trio in the middle of the piece. We'll see.
Nice.
So, but yeah, so I'm really excited to explore this piece with you, and I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of a snippet of what we're working on behind the scenes. And you and I are actively talking all the time about the piece. And one of the things that we'll come back and talk about later is I'll give you drafts, and we can talk about that kind of in real time with folks so they can
Sure.
see what it's like to be part of that process of the draft. So more
Absolutely.
to come on that.
And
So.
that'll be interesting because in all the commissions that I've done so far,
Mhm.
I've never received a draft.
Oh,
I've
okay.
commissioned the work and then I received the work and then I performed it and um, I think I've recorded most of the stuff that I've commissioned.
Great.
So this will be really neat to get a draft of a section, work it through a little bit, and then we can talk about that. So I'm very excited about that aspect as well.
Me
Uh,
too. That feedback to me helps to shape the piece and beyond just what's in my brain, but also shaping it for what you're excited to play as a
yeah,
performer, but then also shaping it for the next groups of people that are going to play it so that it's
exactly.
something that's very idiomatic and something that's very enjoyable by everyone who plays it because
Yeah,
you've had a hand in shaping it.
yeah,
So
exactly.
so I'm
Yeah,
excited about that. That's the
yeah,
best
me too.
part of the collaboration.
I know it's awesome. It's absolutely great.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So, well, Jeremy, thanks so
Good.
much for chatting. We're going to do lots more of these in the near future. But in the meantime, everybody, go check out some of Jeremy's recordings. Jeremy, tell us about you've got a couple up on Spotify.
So the best part, because I have to admit I don't have a website yet, so I really need to get off my lazy bum and take care of that. But the best way to get all my recordings is on my YouTube channel.
Ah,
So Jeremy W. Reynolds, I think it's a common in clarinet. Because like the last recording I did with Well, the in 2015, I recorded new music for clarinet, viola, and piano, but that comes up under the Vaudland ensemble, so it's not my name directly.
Okay.
So, I mean, all my stuff is up there, but you have to like do a deep dive. But the easiest way is on the YouTube channel.
Great.
So check those out.
Great.
I'm actually currently in the process of wrapping up a solo CD of all unaccompanied music that I did back in June.
Wonderful.
So that'll be out hopefully by February, March. So that'll be cool too.
Yeah.
So
We'll chat
yeah,
about that on here
yeah,
too. When it comes
yeah.
out, we'll do a little promo for it. I like it.
Sure. Yeah, that'll be great. That'll
That's
be cool.
awesome.
Yeah, so that's
Awesome.
the best way to hear myself is on that just YouTube channel. So I know
Great.
it's probably rather elementary, but that's just the easiest way.
It's a great way to find stuff, and I'll make sure that everybody has that link so that they can go check it out. So
Great. Excellent.
awesome. Well, thanks,
Oh,
Jeremy, and
thank you.
we will chat soon. And everybody out there, reach out with any questions, and happy composing. So we'll
And
see.
happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays.
It's like the week before Christmas and we're in Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah has started. So wait,
Um,
has it's
I don't know.
I'm not, but in any case, happy holidays to everybody.
Happy
And
holidays.
happy New Year. So yeah,
Yes.
good.
So awesome. All right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jenny.
everybody. We'll see
See
you
you
all
soon.
real soon.
Yes,
All right.
good.
Bye.
Bye.